Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Monday, March 11th. Okay, so we have the moon in Aries energy all day, which is definitely going to help us out, put a pep in our step, kind of renew, re-spark, reignite a fire, a flame within us that, of course, is going to blaze us on a new path, in a new quest, in a new adventure once we jump into this new astrological calendar. We're building the energy needed in order to continue to be inspired, to be motivated, to be determined enough to make a change. Now, we're very much still in the new moon energy. So again, if you haven't downloaded your moon guide and, getting in alignment with this energy, there's still very much time to do that. But the big thing here today is that Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, and money, she's closing out her time in Aquarius energy. She's moving into Pisces energy. So if you've downloaded your Pisces season e-guide, you're going to want to flip to this last section of these astro events before we dive into this new astrological calendar. We have had a little bit of a bumpy ride over the last couple of days with Mercury on the move, the new moon in Pisces bringing an ending, a closure in order for a new beginning, a new cycle to actually take place. And now we have Venus diving into the Piscean energy as she wraps up her orbit through the zodiac wheel. So there is an astro forecast for this particular event as well that I'm going to recommend you take a listen to so that you understand what Venus in Pisces is all about. Now, with that being said, there are 8 different aspects taking place here today. 7 of them are going to involve the moon. The moon in Aries energy going to get off to a little bit of a bumpy, rough start here today with a semi-square to first Uranus and then Mars. So if you've been paying attention, if you've listened to the previous day energy forecasts, you would know that Mars and Uranus have kind of stolen the show over this past weekend. Why? Because they got into a square with each other and kind of disrupted the energy, created an upheaval situation where we're tipping over the very first domino that will lead us in a new path, a new direction, mostly through the collapse, the deconstruction of the old, and of course cleaning the space, clearing the slate to build something new. There was a lot of energy built up there. There was a boiling point. We had Mercury then move into Aries energy, helping us clear out the mental plane. We dove into the new moon in Pisces. And now we are anticipating Venus giving us some intensity from the last degrees of this Aquarius energy before she dives into Pisces energy. So the Uranian and Mars energy still kind of jolting us. The moon in this Aries energy, of course, is very impatient. We're really feeling restless at this point. We have ants in our pants. We want to take action. We want to make moves, but we're not really being permitted to do so. The moon's interaction with Uranus is definitely putting us in a, I'm going to say, anxious state of waiting. We are not feeling like we have the kind of clarity, the kind of energy supporting us to adopt new methods and really jump into new paths and directions. The semi-square with Mars, and of course Mars rules over the Aries energy, is going to amplify the anger, the frustration, the ants in our pants, the restlessness that we're feeling, that of course we have to kind of resist at all costs because we can't jump into anything that isn't kind of being supported right now. We're not being really supported to make any major moves at this particular time. As we're still in Pisces season, we need to bring things to an ending, bring things to a close. So we're definitely not off to a great start. However, early afternoon, the moon is going to make a positive interaction with Saturn. So the Lord of Karma is definitely stepping in here. We are tapping into a new mood, a new attitude where we are ready to do what is necessary to make major changes so that we can grow, we can heal, we can evolve. We can start constructing a bridge to get us away from where it is that we're at and closer to where it is that we desire to be. There is a reality check that is kicking in here, putting us in a situation to understand that we need to kind of double down on the energy that we're building, cultivating inside of us, to understand that we are about to jump into new chapters. That does kind of require us to be an improved version of self because we have new commitments, new obligations that this new level of karma is going to require us to anchor down into. And the moon in Aries energy in this warrior type of spirit is ready to do just that. A couple hours later, the moon in Aries is going to make a positive interaction with Jupiter, the planet of growth, expansion, beliefs, abundance, and blessings in this Taurus energy. So again, emotionally speaking, we are riled up and ready to go. We're fired up, we're inspired, we're motivated, we're thinking about the options and the opportunities to make moves, to grow, to improve, to actually see where it is that we can kind of close the door on some situations that we've been very kind of stagnant in, vulnerable in. And now we're tapping into a new power, a new energy, a new focus, a new emotion that has us really excited for the possibilities that we now have available to us to build, to create something new. The moon is then going to make a positive interaction with Pluto, the great transformer himself, in this Aquarius energy. I love this because this means that we are feeling empowered. It feels like we are in control. Now, we may not have all the details lined up. We may not have the actual path, plan, and strategy kind of formulated and written out by a step-by-step plan. However, in our mood, in our attitude, in our mental plane, we feel like we are well equipped, well prepared to tackle and handle anything that is thrown our way. We are standing in our confidence, standing in our self-esteem. We are standing in our abilities to just kind of understand that we have survived every freaking wild card event that the universe has thrown at us, and that should be reassurance enough that it doesn't matter what is thrown our way, we will be able to handle it. That is a boss up vibe. We love this energy for everyone to tap into and actually kind of feel like we have control over something in our lives, which of course we haven't felt in a very long time. So again, take a mental snapshot of that particular energy and vibe, because it likely won't last long, but it is going to become a little bit more frequent. 5:51 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Venus will be moving into that Piscean energy. Again, please go ahead, listen to that astro forecast so that you understand what these next couple of weeks are going to mean to our heart space. We sit in that shift, in that energy, which, by the way, will be totally noticeable in your heart space. A lot of emotions coming out of nowheres, very high highs, very low lows, and everything in between. We sit in that for like 2.5, 3 hours, and then the moon is going to semi-square Venus. So this is not a good vibe. First of all, the moon in Aries, it's very aggressive. We want to be straightforward. We want to initiate something new. We want to just take action and make move to resolve some of the issues that we've been feeling, the problems that we've been trying to resolve, the emotions that we've been trying to kind of get control over, the headspace that we've been trying to kind of empower ourselves with, a new narrative. This is an energy where we're not going to feel so good. Venus, of course, just in this Pisces energy, she doesn't want to take action at all. She just wants to surrender to the waves that are crashing upon her. She's very sensitive. She is all up in her feels. She is not aggressive at all. She wants to actually run away, avoid confrontation, let alone having to be able to pursue and actively kind of, I'm going to say, aggress herself in a new path towards her wants, needs, and desires. So these are just two completely different conflicting energies. We're not going to feel on the same page at all. There's going to be this anger, this frustration, yet this, I'm going to say, surrender, this empathy, this sensitivity that is just going to clash. Again, think of the waves. We're going to be very high on the waves, feeling like we can tackle anything, like we're inspired and motivated to take action and make moves. And then that wave dissipates. We find ourselves in the very, very low valley of the darkness. That is where the sensitivity, that is where the heart chakra activations kick in. That's where we're not feeling so hot. The moon is going to come up to bump into, team up with the North Node in Aries energy. Okay, so a conjunction means that there's just as much of an ending as there is a beginning. Now, in this regard, the North Node in Aries energy means that the moon sitting on top of the North Node is directly opposing the South Node in Libra energy. These North Nodes of the moon are connected to the moon, obviously, which means that there is a karmic realization of the season and cycle that we are ending versus the one that we are about to jump into. Now, the want, need, and desire to fall back on that South Node in Libra, fall back to the, let's call it, relationship dynamics that we fought so hard to get away from. Fall back on the people-pleasing qualities, codependent relationships that we fought so hard to get away from. the want, need, and desire to fall back on what is tried, tested, true, and familiar is going to be there. And we have to resist that urge with everything that we got, because we have to lean into the North Node, which is asking us to be independent, pioneering, aggressive enough to not only implement the boundaries that are needed to prevent us from falling back on the things that we fought so hard to get away of, but to push us forward on this path where new ideas, new goals, new visions, new dreams, new plans are going to really support our own wants, needs, and desires, our own potential, our own mission, our own purpose. So as much as we are going to be conflicted in this energy, it is cleansing us, preparing to launch us in a new path, in a new direction.